Hello, Dr. Nandi. Just wanted to say, first of all, thank you for an amazing class. I think it's been phenomenal. I've had one of the best experiences that I've had so far. But tonight, I'd like to talk about the technological advancements that have kind of impacted society as a whole, impacted humanity, and specifically this most modern technological era that we find ourselves in the AI era. And I'd like to argue that the dominant focus of AI being a commercial entity is going to continue to widen the wealth gap of equality here in the United States and around the world. Um, it will likely concentrate again more wealth into the hands of those who are already super wealthy. It's a wealth gap that we have already that's enormous, and it's just going to become expanded upon when we develop more AI technology and robotics technology as well. And this concentration of wealth put in the hands of a few corporations and individuals are going to further marginalize a vulnerable population and hindering the actual utopian generic economic equality that we're searching for. On the first aspect, I'm looking at the high costs of that are associated with AI. What it is we see that more and more natural resources are being consumed, they're being absorbed, and this type of technology is really readily only available to the wealthy elite, to the powerful. They're the only ones, the well-funded corporations that have the ability to kind of utilize this technology and build these resources. We even have Meta, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta trying to create a nuclear power plant in order to power his new AI. And so not only do we seeing the massive amount of resources that are being used, we also include in these technologies they're using rare earth minerals that are destroying the planet. And so we're seeing more and more exploitation of vulnerable populations around the world, especially in those which would be deemed lesser developed countries such as China, in aspects of China, and then we look at Taiwan and Africa, where a lot of these rare earth minerals are at, and where they can be freely mined by the exploitation of the lower economic, socioeconomic classes. So, and then at the same time, the development of this massive infrastructure that's going to hinder the lower socioeconomic statuses are also creating a deeper gap in the inequality. The second aspect of it, of AI, and what it's going to do to increase the wealth gap is the fact that a lot of these AI driven technologies that are being produced, even up to the robots that are being produced and used in the production and manufacturing plants, but we also see a lot of jobs and a lot of people that are going to get displaced, that are going to be replaced by either artificial intelligence, or they're going to be replaced by robots, and they're going to see a larger gap of people that are able to provide for their family and those who are profiting off the use of these machines. Not only is the alienation happening, because the machines don't have any type of needs, so they're going to displace people, which it could be a positive thing, right? We could see a utopian society where humanity doesn't really need to labor in order to sustain themselves. But if we go based off of history, that's definitely not going to be the outcome. So one aspect of artificial intelligence and automation is the displacement of workers and people being able to provide for their families. And it's going to, again, increase the wealth gap, increase the inequality that is happening around the world. And finally, the last point that I would like to make regarding artificial intelligence and how it's going to impact, inequality is the access, right? Are we giving everybody equitable access? Is the data that's being mined for the artificial intelligence, is it being used for the benefit of everybody? Are people that don't have access to internet, that don't have access to those type of resources, are they able to access these services? Because what we have is the ability, as you can see, this technology, artificial intelligence, has such a large impact, not only on us as students to have that kind of tool at our fingertips so that we can use it to kind of enhance our own knowledge and our own growth. But this is something that should be accessible to the world. This is something that should be accessible to everybody so they can grow and evolve and become, better stewards of the planet. We go back to the first point. We look at how the resources are being used. Can we use this technology to improve the amount of resources that we're using, right? It should be able to do that. We should be able to use AI and artificial intelligence to help bring up the lower socioeconomic classes up and kind of find a balance. But of course, we're not going to do that as long as it's being used for commercialized basis. We look at the original introduction of the internet, and even in Google, when it was first introduced, it was free. It was a search engine. It was a tool. It led us, to getting new knowledge and gathering new facts. What it ended up becoming is a marketplace, and now we're mining people's data, and it's being used to promote and sell products. Well, that's going to continue to create the gap that we're seeing of wealth and inequality. I think we are sitting at the forefront of an amazing revolution similar to the Industrial Revolution. Humanity is continuously using it to develop and to profit. We're continuously using our technologies to take advantage of people in order to give the elite, give the upper class more advantage and exploit the labors of those in the class beneath them. And it needs to stop. The commercialization of AI definitely has that potential to help change the trajectory of our planet. If we are able to mitigate the negative impact it will have on the natural resources by potentially harvesting available energy sources, as well as limiting the amount of rare earth minerals that are being used and exploited. We also have the ability to use this technology to not just displace people out of their jobs and their ability to be productive, but to use that production to help limit those gaps and allow people to have time to explore their passions and explore their growth. And then finally, we need to be able to use this technology equitably. Everybody needs to have access to it so all humanity can grow and evolve and become better people. I think AI has a lot of potential, and I think we need to be able to be advocates of its fair use and being able to share it with the world equitably, equally, and with justice. And we need to start here at home. Thank you.